and welcome back to Refiner's Forge. So this is part 2 of doing a folded forge welded hatchet. So last time we ended up here, we got the hatchet, the cheeks forged out, the pole forged out, and folded around and ready to receive the high carbon steel bit to go in there. So that's what we're going to work on here now. So this is a piece of old leaf spring. I've tested this. It hardens really well, holds a great edge. So this is what we're going to use for the high carbon steel bit. So we're going to forge a taper on the end of it and get it ready to go in here and forge weld it all together. All right, so we got our piece of high carbon steel here. Put it right on the edge of the anvil. I'm going to start with the rounded side of my hammer and start forging that taper. The rounded side really helps to just kind of spread the material faster. Press it. All right, it's starting to spread out there, so I'm going to kind of forge those corners in some and then go back to putting that taper on there. All right, getting a little cold, so I'm going to take another heat, go back to the forge here. All right, we're going to still work on forging that taper there, get that edge pretty thin on the end. Forge the corners of the back end a little bit here. All right, I'm on the flat side of my hammer now. Just trying to smooth it out here, bring that taper back some. All right, one more heat and we'll have it there. I'm going to forge the taper back just a little bit more, and then we'll cut the teeth in it. All right, so again with the flat side of the hammer, just kind of working that taper back a little bit. Just kind of smoothing it out here. All right, I got it where I want it now. All right, we got our taper forged here. And so next I'm going to do is grind this flat across. And then I'm going to use this hot set to cut some teeth into it. And what that will do when we put the high carbon steel bit into the axe, like this, when you go to forge weld all together, that teeth will hold it in place so it doesn't spit out on you when you hammer it. You could also tack weld it with a MIG welder or whatever, but we're doing this all by hand pretty much, so that's what we're going to do next. All right. We're going to cut these teeth in. So I'm putting 3 this one direction, and I'm going to come back the other direction and put 2 in between those 3 here. So you can see there, these teeth. So I'll put this bit in cold into the hot axe head, and then so those teeth will dig into the hot metal, and that will keep it seated in there. All right, so I'm going to mark this at 1.5 inches, or maybe 1 3/4. And I'll cut it off the bar here. and we'll go to the chop saw to cut that off. Alright, so next we're going to get ready to forge weld the high carbon steel bit into the axe head. But before we do that, we need to make sure our forge is clean, clinker and ash out of there so we get nice clean fire for our forge weld. Now I'm going to put the axe head in there. Start heating that up. Start putting some more coal up around the edges here. We're going to flux it with some Mule Team 20 borax. And just get that at Walmart, or probably your local grocery store carries it, laundry detergent aisle. So we got that fluxed up real good. So we're going to go ahead and insert our steel bit here. Alright, so set those teeth. So those teeth are set now into the hot steel of the axe. And so now it's not going to go squishing out on us when we go to forge weld it. Alright, so let's put it back in the fire. Start getting it heated up. Now that we got the high carbon bit in there and it's heated, I'm going to go ahead and flux it again here. Alright, so go back to the fire, and the next step is we're going to be setting the weld. It's our second welding heat here. Concentrate on the transition here. Make sure that's all welded good in the back side, and then get to the front. Seems like for me this back side right here is the hardest part to get welded really good. The front is easy. So I'm going to flux it one more time here. Get one more weld on it, and then we'll start spreading it and forging out the bit of the axe. Alright, so back to the forge. Concentrate on the back side. Switch to the cross peen and we'll start spreading. One thing you want to do is flip back and forth each side. Often, one of the big mistakes I make was I do all my cleaning on one side, and one side will spread more than the other side. So I still forget sometimes. It's been forever trying to fix it. Alright, so there we go. Go back and heat it up. Keep spreading. Alright, continue working on spreading here. We're going to have high heat still. I want the weld to delaminate. So I'm kind of picking this side down here to be the bottom side of the axe. So I want to kind of spread more of the metal down this direction. So, get it back in the fire and heat it up again. All right, so this is a cardboard cutout that I've made. This is the hatchet shape that I'm forging. So what I do is I take this cardboard cutout and I place it on my welding table here, and I trace it out. Just with some soapstone here. So then as I'm forging, I can forge to that shape, so I'll make sure I get enough spread. And that's what I'll forge to. I'll be comparing to as I'm forging the axe head out. Flip it over. Now I'm pulling the material towards me. A little more spread in here, pulling it down a little bit more towards the bottom. I'm kind of fanning now, kind of turning the axe head as I'm pulling down. I'll switch over to the other side. Now I'm going to push that material away from me. Again, rotating the axe, bringing it out. Next heat, I'm going to switch to my rounding hammer. I'm going to start spreading this up here, like I want to spread in all directions. So, heat it up. Alright, so I got my rounding hammer now. I use the round side. I'm working that in the upper part of the axe here. I'm going to flip over to my flat side now. So now we're going to go over to the table and check it against our trace mark on the table there. Alright, so I'm pretty close. I just need a little bit more spread here on the corners. But I like to go ahead and forge my bits pretty thin. So this is still thick for me. So I'm going to forge it down, and when I do that, I think I'll get enough spread to get wider. And what I'll do is I'll save a lot of grinding if I forge that down. So, and I very much dislike grinding, and I like to avoid it where I can. So that's what we're going to do. All right, I got the edge of the welding heat there. Make sure that steam. There we go. Steel off there, pretty good. Not too hard. Got a tough steel there. I'm going to try hitting that with the wire wheel real quick. Eyeballing things, straightening it out a little bit here. We'll get the final straightening after we drift the eye and all. But it helps if it's pretty close. Alright, so now we're going to go to the table here and prepare it for drawing. Alright, so there's our drawing. Make sure we have the axe oriented in the correct direction. Next, I'm going to heat this up one more time, and I'm going to put my touch stamp right there. Alright, there you go. There's my touch mark on there. Alright, so now we're going to start shaping the eye of the axe. So this is the drift I'll be using. I made this out of a piece of axle shaft. And then this is kind of a spacer. Put the back of the axe on back here and the curve of the axe on here, and then I'll be hammering down like this. And this allows the drift to go through and have some space underneath the axe for the bottom of it to come out. That's what we're going to do now. I'm going to drift the bottom side first. Then drifting the bottom. Check if I have my drift in there the correct way. I'm going to hammer the back side of it, flatten it out some here. See how this is raised up here? When you fold it around, it kicks that out. So basically I'm forcing that flat here now. And then forcing it flat here on the corners. Do that drift one more time. Alright, so just kind of checking for straightness here. Pretty good. So now we're going to drift the top. I like to draw a line on my drift with a silver pencil where I drifted up to on the bottom side. So that will, and then I drift the top of it just slightly a little bit further than that mark. So the top is a little bit wider than the bottom. Heat it up. Hopefully that'll be the last heat. I'm drifting the eye. Alright, so you can see my mark is not visible there anymore. So we're down below the mark there. Put the drift in on the bottom side one time here. I didn't flap it too much. Well, I got it up to the mark there on the bottom side. That's the nice thing about silver pencil. It doesn't wear away like the soapstone does. All right, so since I've been selling a lot of these and kind of going for consistency here and the weight and size of the head and all. So what I do, the last thing I do before I start grinding and stuff is I take my cardboard cutout. And so I just trace around that on the axe head, so pretty close with forging. So don't have too much to take away here. Again with the silver pencil here. So the nice thing, it doesn't wash away really when cooling it off in the water as you're grinding and stuff like that. All right, so that's basically what I just need to cut out. Yeah, so we'll move to the porta band and I'll cut a little bit out of it along here with the porta band and grind it. Little plug for a tool. I don't get anything for this, not sponsored by Harbor Freight. This is a Bauer Harbor Freight brand porta band, and I wish I had bought one of these earlier in my blacksmithing career because this thing is amazing. I've got it mounted to the wall in a simple little mount here, and it's worked for me fantastically. So I got it on a coupon for like 99 bucks. I don't know if they sell them quite that cheap anymore, but anyways, I think it's well worth your money to buy one of these. This is my fancy on and off switch right here. So. Tool steel will dull these blades a lot faster than mild steel. One of these blades will cut for a long time on mild steel, so it saves cutting discs and that kind of stuff on the angle grinder. So the rest of this, I'll just grind on the belt grinder. Alright, so the axe is all forged out, rough grind is done, so I need to normalize it, take the stress out of it, and then harden and temper it. And so the forge weld ended up really good there, can't even see a seam there, that's what you want. But, and then, so after I harden, temper it, sharpen it, then I pass it off to my handle man, Dan Sanders. He does a fantastic job making the handles, and that lets me concentrate on doing the forging, and I get to pay a friend to make my handles for me, so it works out really good. So, thanks for watching. If you like this video, let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'd be happy to help you out in any way I can. And if you would, click that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next time at Refiner's Forge. Thanks again. Bye.